السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. We begin by praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We bear witness that none has the right to be worshipped or unconditionally obeyed except for Him. And we bear witness that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the last messenger. We ask Allah to send His blessings on him, the prophets before him, his family, and everyone who died in the state of Iman. Ameen. Brothers and sisters, today is the blessed day of Eid al-Adha. And today, I know that a lot of you had woken up early to go to the Eid Salah, and now you have coming back. And even though you may be tired, I just ask that you listen to the small words I have to say today. Brothers and sisters, today I have a simple topic for all of us. We all know that this day is celebrated because of the hardships of Prophet Ibrahim. And we all know that Prophet Ibrahim, even from the youngest of ages, he was put through hardships and tests by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and he had triumphed over all of them. If we look at our own daily lives, we can't even compare ourselves to even the childhood of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. In our own lives, the worst thing we can feel is the death of a loved one, the loss of our jobs, the loss of our family or friends, or even something that may be causing us hardship, and then we ask Allah, why us? Why are we feeling this pain? Brothers and sisters, even when Prophet Ibrahim was a child, he never had asked such these things because he knew Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had a plan. He knew the plan of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was that of the plan that was going to lead him on the right path, and no matter as long as he followed it, he was on the straight path. So when we talk about Prophet Ibrahim and his childhood, from a young age he knew that the idols that his family and his companions that they worshipped, he knew that this was not right, and he knew that this thing that was happening around him, it was not of Allah. Even though at the time he was not truly aware of Allah, he knew in the back of his head at all times that this is not right and there's some power above this that I should be looking for. So one day he ventured out with his father, and then he asked him, "Oh father, what are these idols that I'm looking at?" And then he said, "Oh son, these idols are the things we worship. These idols are what grant us our food, our shelter, our clothing." And Prophet Ibrahim said, "But they do not talk." And his father had replied, "Yes, but they still give us nourishment." And then he said to his father, "How can things that don't even move, things that are made out of clay and wood, how can they give us the things that we need every day?" And his father started to get angry. He did not like his son giving him these questions. He did not like being questioned by his own son. So he had told him, "You should worship these idols as I do, as everyone else does, and you should just keep your mouth quiet." And this made Prophet Ibrahim sad. He was staring at his own father, someone he's supposed to look up to, someone who's supposed to guide him in this world, and all he was hearing from his mouth was deceit and lies. So he ventured out to a cave, and he started looking up at the stars and the moon and the sun, and he would say to himself, "Whoever made this was not the idols down there, but a higher power that is up there, a higher power that none of us can see." So one day, a great festival came, and all the people of his city had ventured out. And he decided that he was going to teach the city a lesson. He was going to show them that whatever they are doing is wrong. So he had taken an axe, and he had gone to the square where all the idols had been, and he started to break them down. He started to destroy all the idols, except for the biggest and tallest one. So he climbed onto that idol, and put the axe inside his hand, and then he waited. Now before I continue, we need to look at the act that he just did. In this act, he's not only disobeying his own father, but every single person in that village. And he had done it behind their back. Brothers and sisters, how could someone who has so much faith, it just shows how much faith Prophet Ibrahim had when he done something for the sake of Allah, and he went against an entire city, the people he loved, the people who he was supposed to look up to. But because he knew they were wrong, because he knew that for the sake of Allah I must do this, he had done it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala even give us the ability to be the smallest percentage like him. Ameen. Now going on, Prophet Ibrahim, all he did was wait. He didn't try to run or hide or escape. He waited for them. So once the festival had ended and everyone had returned, they were shocked to see all the idols in little pieces around. He didn't even try to hide the act, he left it open and stood in front of it. And then they had asked him, "Oh Ibrahim, what had happened here?" And then he looked at the tallest idol holding the axe. He said that idol had done it. He's holding the axe, the weapon that had slaughtered the other idols. And this made the people angry, because they were not that dumbfounded that they didn't know that the idols can't move. They know the idols can't move. They know that they are things that can't talk or speak. So they said to Ibrahim, that idol, even though it is the biggest and the tallest out of all of them, it can't move. That idol is something that couldn't have done such an act. He said, "You are lying, Ibrahim. You have done this act." And he said, "How can I be lying when that thing you worship, the thing you say that gives you nourishment and shelter, how could I have not done that if you say it has its powers?" And this made the people more angry. They said that, "Ibrahim, you are going against your forefathers. This act that you have done is very treacherous." And Ibrahim said, "I have not gone against my forefathers. It is you who have gone against your forefathers. It is you people who are not understanding that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the rightful God, and these idols made out of stone and clay and wood, they have no power, they have no meaning in this dunya." This made the people more angry. So what they did, they took Ibrahim and they said, "We're going to make an example out of you. We are going to show you that we are not to be trifled with." Trying to say as if they had power. They were trying to regain the control they had lost. So they took Ibrahim and they made a giant fire. A fire so hot and so big that it stood tall and you could see it from anywhere in the city. And they took Ibrahim and they said to him, "We are going to make an example out of you now." So they took him and threw him in the fire. Now at this moment, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had commanded the fire itself, to become cool and to become safe for Ibrahim as he landed in it. And subhanallah, Ibrahim had walked out of the fire as if nothing had happened. And even the people witnessing this, they thought that he's a magician. They thought that Ibrahim was doing magic or something that was not even related to Allah. They called him a witch. The Prophet Ibrahim at this moment, he knew Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Lord and I must follow him. And then he was ordered to leave that city, and so he did, without a question. He had left the people, in the command of Allah, he had left the people without a second thought. He left his father, he left his family, he left his friends, his family, all the people he knew. And even though Prophet Ibrahim had known that these people had done wrong, he had known that these people had wronged him and wronged Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he always felt guilt in his heart that I should have done more. I should have done something for these people, but in the end, on the command of Allah, he had left. Now subhanAllah, this was done when Prophet Ibrahim was such a young age, younger than most of us standing here today. And he never once questioned Allah, he never once questioned Allah, or never said, "Why me? Why is it that I have to do this? Why can't you command this person or that person?" He never once said that. So what happened next for Prophet Ibrahim? So Prophet Ibrahim had settled down with his wife and he had a child. And the child was Ismail. And then one night, Prophet Ibrahim had a dream. A very vivid dream that he knew it was from Allah. And in that dream, he was slaughtering his own son. Can we even imagine that? Imagine you having a dream so vivid, so real, that you are slaughtering your own loved one. You are taking a knife or a weapon and putting it to their throat and killing them with no mercy. So Prophet Ibrahim had woken up shaken, tears streaming down his eyes. He knew that it was a command from Allah, and he knew this is something he had to do, and he knew it was a test from Allah. But all he could do in that moment when he woke up was feel pain in his heart. So he had approached his son with tears streaming down his eyes. He was shaken from the dream. And he said, "Oh my son, I have received a dream from Allah." And his son had asked, "What kind of dream?" He said, "In that dream, I have slaughtered you for the sake of Allah." And subhanAllah, it's not only the taqwa of Prophet Ibrahim, it's the taqwa of his son. His son looked at him straight into his eyes with complete devotion and faith to Allah, and he said, "Oh my father, if that is what Allah has decreed, then I will do it willingly." And Prophet Ibrahim, this shook him. He was so happy that his son was happy to do something for Allah, but it still shook him. He knew that he had to do this act. So he had taken a knife and he had put his son in the position and he had gotten ready to slaughter him. And still he was hesitant, but he knew this was for the sake of Allah and he had done the act. But in that very moment when he moved the knife across his son's neck, it was replaced with a cattle. And Allah had told him, "Oh my Prophet, you have completed this trial towards you. This shows your devotion and your son's devotion to my religion." And in that moment, Prophet Ibrahim, all he could feel was relief. All he could feel is that I knew I should have followed Allah, and this had led me on the straight path. Brothers and sisters, this is why we follow and we celebrate Islam in the blessed day of Eid al-Adha. But Prophet Ibrahim and his trials never ended there, brothers. Prophet Ibrahim, his entire life, he had always devoted himself to Allah, and he had always devoted himself for the right path. We all know that Prophet Ibrahim and how he had done all these things. But if we look at the mere concept itself, I could promise that none of us standing or sitting here today could stand through any of that. Even if we had seen this man doing such a thing, we would think of him as crazy. We would think of him as a man who has no morals at all. To be willing to sacrifice his own son for a God that no one can see. A man that is destroying idols that everyone around seems normal because he doesn't find it normal. In this society today, a man like that would have been outcast. A man like that would have been treated as complete garbage on the street. A man like that would have been thrown out of his own city. A man like that would have been not even looked at by the people. They would look away in embarrassment, saying, how is this person among us when he does such things? Brothers and sisters, when we look at the story from the other side, from the side of Prophet Ibrahim, we see that it is him who had gone through trials, not the people, because he was the one that had sacrificed everything in his life. He was the one who had gone away from his family. He's the one who was disobeying the people of his city and disobeying, quote unquote, his forefathers. He was the one who was willingly able to sacrifice his own son. He was the one who had listened to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala without even a second thought. Brothers and sisters, I ask that Allah makes our life easy for us. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us like Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam, even in the slightest. I ask him to give us the devotion that Prophet Ismail had in that very moment.